Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and I'm expecting to hear that you've had a lot of change in the last week, or things feel distinctly different for you compared to last week. I'd just like to go over some of those things right here at planetwatcher.com so you can see what's changed. We recently came out of a Mercury retrograde time period, and as of 2.9 days ago, Mercury has gone direct, and it is in the sign of Libra, if we look at the chart over here, and it will soon be advancing towards Scorpio, where we already have the Sun conjunct Venus in the sign of Scorpio right now. Over the course of the last week, the Sun moved into Scorpio 5 days ago, and Venus moved into Scorpio approximately the same amount of time ago. And this helps us in terms of making our decisions or finalizing our thoughts and our plans towards specific desires. While these two planets were moving through Libra, we may have been undecided or taking into account other people or other situations, thinking of compromise, not being able to make a decision or choose between what somebody else might have been telling us was good for us, or what we really want deep down inside. And once the Sun and Venus entered into Scorpio, which is a fixed water sign, we were able to get out of our heads and more into our emotional body to be able to know what sits right for us, what feels correct, what do we have to have no matter what. This is also being supported right now by the sudden movement of Mars into Capricorn just 2 days ago. We now have Mars in the sign of Capricorn, which is a cardinal Earth sign. And this will also act as a call to action and help strengthen our resolve toward whatever our plans are, whatever we feel that is best for us, and help us to pursue those plans and make our dreams into a reality. It is actually a very good dynamic of energy right now toward getting what we want and putting things into effect. If you were treading water during the Mercury retrograde time period from October 4th to the 24th, now you should be able to actually move forward and see something constructive begin to take place if you use the energy in a constructive manner and make up your mind to go after what you want. You do have the means now of support with the planets behind you toward getting what you want and putting things into place and keeping your ideals or your dreams and visions topmost. Make sure that you hold on to that perfect or ideal vision of what you want and apply your willpower toward making it happen. Do you see this blue triangle right here? This is very supportive energy. Venus and the Sun are favorably aspecting Neptune and Chiron in Pisces, which is very imaginative and creative, inspired. It can give you back what your perfect dream or ideal is if that is how you choose to look at things. If you choose to take the passive stance of lack of faith or victimization or feeling that it's just impossible, you can't possibly have what you want, then you will begin to see that appear in your life. Because of the reflective quality or the plastic quality of Neptune and the Piscean energy, it's so important to hold on to your faith, to keep that higher ideal in mind, to use your imagination and your faith together to achieve what you want or to begin to see those things come into reality. The strength of cardinal Earth energy, where we have Pluto, Mars will soon be joining Pluto, and today we have the Moon in Capricorn sandwiched between these two planets. Your emotions right now may be fixated on getting a plan, sticking to a plan, bringing something back around into being that is better for you or has long-reaching goals, and putting willpower or force of will into effect in a positive and constructive way. So that's the good stuff that's going on. We still have some challenge, of course. There's always a mix of challenging energy and supportive energy on any given day. And right now we do have still an opposition going on between the planet Mercury and the planet Uranus. This can work in a positive way to bring breakthroughs on the mental level, to have the boldness to go after something new. It is part of a T-square, which does tug on Pluto here and the moon. And a T-square can be challenging in that these three planets, or these 3 points that are joined here, do not want to support each other or work together. But what I find with T-squares is that they are like a rash that has to be scratched. You can't avoid these planets. They are moving through your chart, activating whatever house you happen to have, Libra, Aries, and Capricorn energy. So those houses or areas of life will be affected by this T-square. And this applies for everybody. We all have some work to do. We have something to iron out. We have something to overcome. We have something to step up to the plate about and work harder, to try harder, to look at it from a different perspective, perhaps to consider somebody else's perspective, or perhaps to step away from that other person's desires of how they want us to be or what they think we should do. So there is really no way to make everybody happy if this involves relationship. All I can say really is do your best, try your hardest, and be polite. Be absolutely as polite as Libra can be. Be diplomatic. Be as diplomatic as Capricorn can be, while you still pursue your own goals and your own independent thought, and break free in whatever way that you need to break free. And that is what Uranus in Aries is indicating for you to do. We have a square going on here between Jupiter and Saturn, which is not necessarily a negative thing. They are both fixed signs. We've got Scorpio energy, which is water, and we've got Leo, which is fixed fire. And of course, water puts out fire, so that can be a bit problematic in that the enthusiasm of the Jupiter in Leo and the expansiveness, the boldness, is being held in check a bit by the dampening effect of Saturn in Scorpio, which is a bit controlling. But Jupiter by itself is always a beneficial planet, and sometimes it can actually be excessive or a bit too much, over the top, too expansive, too generous, too much overindulgence, especially in dramatic Leo, which wants to share, play, be the biggest, the boldest, the best. So this square can actually be used in a constructive way. Wherever Saturn shows up in our chart is where we need to use a little bit of discipline, where we need to put in some form or structure, where we need to have habits or routines and get some foundation underneath us and stick with something, take something seriously, be responsible. So this is really not a very challenging square. There is one particular aspect pattern in here too, which is called a hand of God or a yod, and this can be very important toward making something come into being, to create or bring about something that we have desired for a very long time, that we feel it's time for it, that we can't avoid bringing this into being. We can't avoid creating this or doing this or sharing this. It's something that has to come out. Whether we do all the work ourselves or we bring other people in for the ride to help us bring it out, it's something that is an imperative. It must be done, and we can't avoid the work of it. That is what a yod more or less produces, is this feeling of inevitability, or that it must be done. And that's this lighter turquoise lines here that you see with the quincunx aspects going on between Neptune and Chiron, Jupiter, and then Jupiter over to Pluto. So where there is a will, there is a way, is basically what that is saying. And this gives us an extra shot of courage or faith and determination that will help us with our desires of getting what we want. And what there is in this pattern also is that we may be going after what we want, but what we want is probably for the highest good of other people as well. That there is something generous or sharing and something caring or healing here, and something that may be transformative in whatever it is that we are going to bring forth. And of course, we're looking at planetary positions in signs right now, but not in houses. For instance, my rising sign or my ascendant is Gemini. If you know your rising sign, your ascendant, and you are familiar with your own chart, you can see where these planets are sitting within your chart and how they are affecting the houses or areas of life for you. For instance, if we count our way over here, if this were my first house, second, third, fourth, fifth, I have a lot of energy going on right now in my fifth house. I also have a lot of activity going on right now in my eighth house. And I have a lot going on in my 10th and 11th house. So that's where these planets fall within my own chart. You can get your chart for free from my own website, alohaastro.com. You can also visit, here's one of my favorite sites. This is where I generate charts for free because they have a fantastic ephemeris and probably the best atlas information in the world. And you can put in your birth data and get all kinds of free charts at astro.com. Of course, if you generate your own chart and want some help in understanding it, I am available at alohaastro.com, and my schedule can be seen if you click on the Book It Now button. It will then show you your options and my calendar for available times. Today, if we look over here at astro.com, we can see the positions of the planets. It's just a different way of looking at what we just saw over at Planet Watcher. I also like to look and see whose birthdays are occurring on any given day, and quite a number of important people are born today. Bill Gates jumped out at me immediately because, of course, everybody's interested in how does somebody get that much money. And it's pretty simple astrologically. If you have aspects between Pluto and Jupiter within your own natal birth chart, you are already predisposed to wanting to have more in life. Pluto, the planet Pluto, intensifies any other planet that it interacts with. Pluto is conjunct Jupiter, and Jupiter is expansion, growth, the God principle, if you look at it from the spiritual perspective, Zeus, and it has to do with abundance. And here we have a conjunction of these two planets, which means Pluto makes Jupiter bigger. It makes the desire of growing and expanding and accumulating even bigger. And these two planets sit in good old adventurous, bold, creative, dramatic Leo in the second house of personal finances. So Bill Gates is here to make a lot of money, and he's also going to work very hard at it, though. If you see this square, the line that joins his Pluto and Jupiter to Saturn and Venus, he actually loves the creativity and that he is providing something for other people. The fifth house is ruled by Leo. So this is particularly strong because here's Leo in his second house, and it supports the fifth house, which is the natural home of Leo. A lot of creativity, a lot of hard work, and enjoyment in doing the work, in giving something creative to other people that is very useful. Here we have a minor aspect, but it's still like icing on the cake. Somebody who has Neptune conjunct the Sun also thinks beyond boundaries. They expand outward with the collective of society. They may be very imaginative, very sensitive, sometimes spiritual, but this also is a very fertile conjunction of planets. Neptune is very fluid, fertile, feminine. It brings flow. It brings the imagination, the inspiration, and it can picture the perfection of something. So with that energy combined here, all this fertility supporting the second house and the growth and abundance and the intensification of growth and abundance, this is where he's providing something that, well, it entertains people, people enjoy it, they share it, they make good use of it, and he's taking the action on it too mentally. It's a very equal balance here in Libra of his mind and his actions in something that can be equally used or distributed to all people. And his moon at the midheaven of his chart in Libra is very assertive, aggressive, independent, pioneering. This is the first of the cardinal signs. It is a fire sign, and cardinal fire wants to initiate, wants to start, wants to lead, wants to be at the top, and it sits at the midheaven or the top of his chart in the 10th house of career. He is driven to come out at the top no matter what he does in life. He's going to be an individual that stands out in a very unique way, and the way in which he would do that, we follow this line here, comes down to the planet Uranus, which happens to rule the 11th house of friends, groups, organizations, humanity, the internet, technology, science, the future. The sharing of the creativity that happens in the 5th house comes out in the 11th house, where it has to come out to be given to society, to be shared with others. Gemini energy here is communication with fellow man, brothers and sisters, formative ideas. We have Taurus energy also in the 11th house, which is very materially oriented. Taurus says, I have. So he has communication that he's sharing with the masses. The ruling planet of the 11th house is the planet Uranus, which he has here conjunct his ascendant. And it is basically showing that he is a pioneer into the future, using technology, using the internet, connecting other people. And so this is why he's got so much money. His money is basically a result of connecting with millions of people or all of society or humanity through his work. And it's always very interesting to look at celebrities' charts or famous people and see if they have something that we have. Do we have something that they have? Can we manifest the highest potential within our own chart? I feel that the best use of astrology is knowledge of what you have and being in the right place at the right time to be able to synthesize your chart and basically run on all your cylinders, use your planets to the best potential, and then use your chart to take a look at the timing of events, the best possible time to put certain things into action within your chart. And that's one reason why we look to see what's going on at any given point in time, so that we can look ahead and know, all right, where are these planets in our chart? What houses do they sit in? Are they making connections to our own personal planets? What type of connections are they making? Are they joining our planets? Are they supporting them through trines or sextiles? Are they forming some squares and oppositions, indicating some challenge or something that we have to overcome? Or maybe we have to try harder and break through and stop doing something the old way. Very often a transit gives us another chance to break free of limitations that we came into this life with. We're given the blessing of talents through aspects of the planets that support us. And I also feel that the challenges, the squares and the oppositions, are as much of a blessing. They may create challenges in our lives that have to be acted upon, but I feel that those challenging aspects are our points of action. And very often our supportive aspects, the easy trines and sextiles, are where we sit back and we receive. We all have a balance of both within our charts, and knowing what you've got can help you decide on what you want to have. So please come and visit me at my site, alohaastro.com. I am available for personal consultations. And have a fantastic week integrating the new energy that's recently arrived. Think about what you want to achieve and get stubborn about it. Start working hard at it and hold on to your faith in your dreams. Many blessings. Bye-bye.